Hi, friends. My name is Toni Cureton. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Life Skills FYI. Life Skills FYI provides a set of core adult capabilities to manage work, family, and relationships successfully. It's designed to help build the skills adults need for life. Life Skills FYI teaches skills of planning, awareness, focus, self-control, and flexibility. They are daily living skills to promote successful independent living, skills that every adult should know but were never taught in school. Life Skills FYI premieres on Thursdays at 10 a.m. on our My Virtual Academy Facebook page and on Instagram. Today, we are going to talk about understanding what renter's insurance is. Okay, so protecting your personal property as a renter is something that everyone at some point in time face in life. Most people know that people who own their own homes are required by their mortgage companies to carry homeowners insurance to protect their property, their possessions, and any injury that might occur by visitors. But what about people who are renting or leasing their living spaces? Today, we're going to discuss everything you need to know about renter's insurance, what it is, what it does and does not cover, and how to get it. So, what is renter's insurance, you ask? I'm glad you asked that question. Renter's insurance is a form of property insurance that covers losses to personal property and protects the insured from liability claims being sued. This includes injuries occurring in your rental unit, apartment, house, mobile home that aren't due to structural problems. Injuries due to structural problems are your landlord's responsibility. In other words, if the roof caved in, that would be a responsibility of the landlord and not you. But if the apartment complex caught fire and your possessions got burned up, while the landlord would have insurance to cover the refurbishment of the building, the apartment complex, or the mobile home, or the house that you're renting from him, it doesn't cover all of your possessions inside of the home, your television, your furniture, your clothing. Those items are not covered by the landlord's insurance. That responsibility is on you. So renter's insurance protects anything from a studio apartment to an entire house, or like I said, a mobile home. Renter's insurance is like homeowner's insurance, but it is for people who rent or lease properties, such as houses and apartments. Renter's insurance tends to cover loss or damage to items in the home related to fire, theft, if you're burglarized, someone breaks in your home and steals, vandalism, if someone comes and destroys your property, and certain weather-related conditions. And I say certain because all of them are not covered. And so you want to be mindful to check and see which weather-related event your insurance will cover. So, next question, why do you need renter's insurance? Again, I am so glad you asked. You may not think that you have anything of great value, but you probably have more things of value than you're taking in consideration for. And then you have to ask yourself the question, if I were to have some sort of emergency event where I suffered loss, can I afford to replace everything that I lost out of my pocket? And usually that answer is no, because if you have a fire in your home and it destroys everything, who has the amount of money to replace all of the furnishings, all of your clothing, your electronics? Who has that kind of money to replace those items at one time? And then who wants to go through the inconvenience of having to replace it over time because you have to buy it in small increments? This is why you need renter's insurance. The average renter's replacement cost of their personal property is roughly worth about $20,000. If you have a TV in the family room, in the bedroom, in the kitchen, that's 3 televisions. Collectively, if you were to purchase them brand new, you would be out several $1,000s. So when you add that up along with your other furnishings and personal items in your home or apartment, that comes to a lot of money. And you know, as I'm demonstrating here, when you add that collectively, you're looking at several $1,000s, and that's a lot of money to have to come up with to replace your personal items. And so this is why you need renter's insurance. In addition, no matter how careful you may be with your own residence, you cannot control your neighbors. They can accidentally leave the security gate open in your apartment unit, or accidentally buzz in some ill-intentioned stranger into your apartment building who may break in. Or they could negligently fall asleep with a lit cigarette in their hand, or start a serious fire in the kitchen. You have no control of your neighbors, no matter how careful you may be. And an accident on their behalf could mean a loss on yours. So this is why having renter's insurance is important. While your landlord's property insurance will cover the building itself, that insurance will not cover the contents of your apartment or your home, nor will it cover the damage for which you could be sued by someone who had an accident within your apartment or your house or your mobile home or rental space. Without coverage, without renter's insurance, you as the tenant would be responsible for any loss that you suffered. This is why it is important for you to get renter's insurance, because if something ever happens to your dwelling place, it's not the landlord's responsibility to replace it. It's your responsibility, okay? So there are 3 different types of renter's insurance coverage in general. There's coverage for personal possessions, there's liability protection, and then there's additional living expense protection. Coverage for personal property is renter's insurance that will cover your personal property from loss due to theft, fire, and other types of disastrous loss events. You know, in certain areas, you know, like Florida, East Coast, they tend to have a lot of hurricanes. In that area, renter's insurance may cover hurricanes, flooding. But for the most part, when you're talking about weather-related insurance coverage, it's not going to be in a basic policy. You're going to have to add that on separately to your insurance policy. You can choose between, when you experience an event loss, you can choose between replacement costs or actual cash value. Actual cash value policies will only pay for what an item was worth at the time it was damaged or destroyed. Replacement cost covers costs, but it will provide replacement cost coverage cost more than actual cash value policies, but it will be more beneficial to you because it will provide a payout large enough to buy brand new items to replace what was lost or destroyed. So between the two, the best investment is to buy replacement cost insurance policies through your renter's insurance, as opposed to actual cash value. Next is liability protection coverage. Liability coverage protects you to a certain amount in the event that you get sued for an injury or other damages incurred at your home by other people. It also provides liability protection against lawsuits for bodily injury or property damage done by the renter, their family, or your pets. Meaning you have a dog and a visitor comes over and for whatever reason, your dog bites that visitor. Well, your renter's insurance policy can cover the expenses that will be incurred when that individual who got bit by the dog now brings a lawsuit against you because they got bit by your dog. So this is another reason why renter's insurance is a really good thing for you to have. The coverage covers legal defense costs up to the limit of your policy. A renter's policy should also include a no-fault medical coverage as a part of the liability protection. This coverage allows someone who gets injured on your property to submit their bills directly to the insurance company in lieu of them suing you. In other words, we're in Michigan, so we experience snow and ice, and someone who's walking up your stairs, for example, like a mailman is delivering your mail and they slip and fall and hurt themselves coming up your stairs or going down your stairs. Now, instead of suing you, if you have the no fault clause in your renter's insurance policy, they can just submit their bills directly to your insurance company, avoiding the legal hassle and going to court. So again, another good reason why you should carry renter's insurance. Additional living expense coverage. Additional living expense coverage provides financial protection against an insured disaster that makes it necessary to temporarily leave your home or your rental property and live somewhere else for a time period. The coverage will pay for hotel bills, temporary rentals, restaurant meals, and other living expenses while your rental property is being repaired or rebuilt. Most policies will reimburse you for the full difference between your additional living expenses and your normal living expenses. There is, however, either a dollar limit on the total amount that an insurer can claim, or that an insurance company will pay out. There's a limit. They do put limits on it. This type of coverage benefits you because, again, if you're in an apartment complex and the neighbor down the hall accidentally starts a fire and it spreads to your unit and you have to move out in order for them to go in your unit and repair the damage. This additional living expense coverage provides you with funding that lets you stay in a hotel, that covers your meals and the expenses that you incurred while you're waiting for your apartment unit to be rebuilt and fixed. This is, again, another good reason why you need renter's insurance, because you see on the news all the time when apartment units burn down and the Red Cross is there and people, are just, traumatized because they just lost everything and they have nowhere to go. This is another reason why you need renter's insurance. Okay, so what doesn't renter's insurance cover? Okay, you should know that there are some things that most basic policies will not automatically cover. For example, last summer in Michigan, we had a lot of rain, and so there was a lot of flooding, a lot of sewer backup into people's homes and basements. That is not something that a renter's insurance policy will typically cover. There is flood insurance available, but you're going to have to purchase that separately as an add-on to your policy for that kind of coverage. Another example of things that are not typically covered in a basic renter's insurance policy is earthquake insurance and other acts of God. Again, it is like I say, depending upon the region that you live in, if your particular state or area experiences certain acts of God or nature on a regular basis, then that means that that is not a basic coverage item of, event loss that your basic policy will cover. There is earthquake insurance available. There is hurricane insurance available, but those are added on riders in your basic insurance policy that you're going to have to pay extra for. It's not typically covered for the most part in most insurance companies, basic insurance, renter's insurance plan. These are things, again, like I said, that can be covered for an additional premium. And if you feel that you live in an area where you are at significant risk, for example, if you live in Florida, it is common knowledge that Florida tends to have a lot of hurricanes. So then it would be in your best interest to add on hurricane coverage to your renter's insurance policy, because they have them all the time. Renters insurance policies also do not cover losses caused by the tenant's own negligence or intentional acts. In other words, you can't just negligently damage your property or, deliberately damage your property and then file a claim and expect to get paid on it, because they do thorough investigations and usually those will not be approved. So, how do you get renter's insurance? Step one, you need to first determine how much insurance you need. When you apply for renter's insurance, it's a good idea to take photographs or to digitally record videos showing everything you own. All of your expensive items, all of your furnishings, your personal property. Also, create a spreadsheet and write down everything that you have. You can do it by room or by item and write down each item and its value. If you don't have actual receipts showing the amount that you paid for them, then you can estimate what the value is. This will help you determine how much coverage you need, because once you go through and list everything out and add up each item in what you feel its value is, then you can determine whether or not you need a $10,000 policy or a $50,000 policy. You going through and taking an evaluation and an inventory of all of the items you own will help you determine how much coverage you're going to need. These steps are pretty detailed and they take a minute, but they're absolutely crucial for two reasons. Because you don't really know the true value of your items until you actually go through them. And second, you have to have this documentation because it will be indispensable if you ever have to file a claim with your insurance company. The more evidence you have to prove that one, those items did exist, and two, were in the condition that you're describing, and so it holds the value of the item, the more documentation you have for that, the better chances you have of being successful when you file your claim in the event of your loss. Make sure you keep copies of your inventory outside of your home or apartment and keep them safe in like a safety deposit box. Or you can, especially if you take photos and videos and then create the spreadsheet on your computer, send it in an email as an attachment to yourself, so that if anything ever happened, all you have to do is just go back into your email or in the cloud and retrieve it and submit it to the insurance company so that they can process your claim successfully. Step two, choose an insurance company. Once you figured out how much insurance you'll need, You'll be ready to locate an insurance company that will offer, renter insurance policies in your area, and compare them, see what they offer and compare the prices, get the best value for what you're going to be paying for. To find insurance companies, all you have to do is just go online and Google. Whoever you have your car insurance with, more likely than not, offers renter insurance. But here are a few examples on the slide. Geico, Farmers Insurance, State Farm, Allstate, all four of those offer renters insurance policies. Or you can ask for recommendations from family and friends. Ask them, who do you have your renter's insurance with, or your homeowner's insurance with, and take their recommendations from them. Let them talk to you about the various insurance companies and explain to you the kinds of services that they've been receiving from them. And then you can make a decision on which insurance company you want to go with. Step number 3, start the application. After you've selected your insurance company, fill out the application. Some companies may allow you to fill out the application online. Others may require that they speak to you over the phone and fill out the policy and the paperwork, and they may send you something in the mail for you to sign. It's a simple process, and it doesn't take very long at all. They will ask you questions related to the type of construction of your dwelling place, or they will also ask you the year that your unit or your house or your apartment was built. They'll ask you whether or not what kind of material is in the roof of your house, or what kind of material was used to build the structure of your house, whether it's aluminum sided or brick. They'll ask you questions along those lines, and they're asking these questions because that helps determine what kind of policy they will issue to you, and what they will allow and what they won't allow as far as claims and benefits for your insurance policy. If you don't know this information, because, of course, this is a rented property, and so you don't necessarily know what year the apartment unit was built or the home was built, contact your landlord and ask them. As a matter of fact, when you move in, your landlord will probably require you to secure renter's insurance. And at that time, you can get that information and discuss it with them then. Your next step is to pay for your policy. At this point, you'll also want to decide which deductible best fits your financial situation. As with all types of insurance, the lower your deductible, the higher the premiums, because with a low deductible, the insurance company will need to pay out more money in the event of a claim. Deductibles can range from $100 to as much as $2,000. It just all depends. Renter's insurance is relatively inexpensive in and of itself. The average cost of renter's insurance can range from about $15 a month to about $100 a month. The rates vary from state to state and from company to company. And of course, they are also based upon the amount of insurance that you purchase, as well as other factors included in your amount of the deductible that you choose. Once you get your new policy in the mail, you'll want to read it and make sure that you understand exactly what it is covering and what it will not cover. You'll want to confirm that it states any non-standard additional coverage that you purchase. In other words, again, if you live in that high risk area for hurricanes or earthquakes, and you purchased earthquake and hurricane insurance, you want to make sure that that's in there. Also, you want to double check that your deductible and premium amounts are correct. So, what is the bottom line? Why do I need renter's insurance? It's a fair question, but a better question might be, can I afford the cost of an accident or a disaster? And the answer to that is, renter's insurance keeps accidents and annoyances from becoming a bank account and a budget killer. So yeah, you would do well to get renter's insurance, because accidents happen and they're not always caused by you. And in the event that one takes place, you definitely want to have this renter's insurance policy on your side, backing you up, so that you don't suffer a huge financial loss. Remember that your landlord's insurance protects his property, which is the building that you live in, the apartment that you live in, the house, the mobile home that you live in. That's what his insurance covers, but it never covers your personal possessions inside of that unit. Only you can protect yourself and your personal possessions. So go online, Google renter insurance companies, and set it up. Again, it's not very expensive, and it is so worth it. It is so worth it. There is nothing more devastating than you having to face an emergency where you're suffering loss and you have no financial backing to take care of it. Well, that is all my time for the day, friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can tune in to Life Skills FYI again every Thursday morning at 10 a.m. on our My Virtual Academy Facebook page and on our Instagram page. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My number is 586-842-0558. Again, my name is Toni Cureton. Thanks again for tuning in. And always remember to adult responsibly.